all to sit straight. We'll start with a prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Good afternoon, all of you. As you might have attended my earlier lectures over here, some of you might have attended, we have dealt with yoga for insomnia, yoga for anxiety, depression. Then we have gone through a series of lectures of Patanjali's yogic concepts, various concepts like Ashtanga Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and also Omkar, attitude development by Patanjali. And now we are coming down to a very important aspect of life, that is stress management, which is a big word nowadays. And I'd like to elaborate upon how stress has been addressed to by Patanjali as well as other yogic authors. And what is stress and how it is defined as per the yogic text, as per the yogic philosophy, and how to manage it. What are the ways that have been told by yoga. So today we'll start with part 1, where we'll try to understand what is stress meant, and so that we can later on in our later parts we can understand thoroughly how the philosophy explains how to manage stress. Okay? If we see through the modern definitions of stress by modern psychologists, psychiatrists, any adjustive demand requires any adaptive response from us is a condition where stress can come into picture. Can be put into simple words like any event or circumstance that strains or exceeds an individual's ability to cope. There is a demand, I have to fulfill it, but if I am not able enough to fulfill that demand of that particular situation, then what comes is stress. So I am into a state where I am not able to understand how to manage all things around, how to get the things done. May it be my family issue, my office, my professional life, anything. Just a simple performance even on stage can bring in stress. We have all our material ready, we have everything ready, but there is an expectation that when I am standing on the stage, what should happen and how should the program come up. My director, my producers all have expectations from me that the performance should be this, that, and there should be a lot of response and all these things. So I get stressed up that will I be able to give up the maximum out of me? Will I be able to perform the perfect, the optimum, so that the what demand is fulfilled? So when I try to cope or try to fulfill this demand, I go into a condition that is stress. Now this stress, we usually understand stress and mostly it is taken as a negative term only. So if we are to talk about any person in trouble, we usually say, are you in stress? Or we ourselves also say, I am stressed out. So that stress is always considered as a negative stress. But if we go into details of stress, they say that stress, as this type of condition always arises in our life. If I have to catch a simple train at the CST station, then also running from here to there and catch a particular train, it creates some minor stress in my mind. Will I be able to catch it or not? Will I be able to run through, or will I be able to drive through? Will there be not a signal and my car will run through, my taxi will go through direct to a station? These all type of things create minor or major stresses in our life all the time. but it is always not negative. When a person appears for exam, there is stress. So the stress is not always negative, because if he takes it in a proper manner, he studies perfectly and he has a positive attitude towards it, automatically he grows upon that stress. And later on that result give him something that is good. So ultimately, after that small period of stress, what he realizes is that the result is all for the good. So, all the stress is always not bad. All the stress will always not give me diseases, will not always make me land into any other type of trouble. So when the stress is good, it is called as eustress. And when it converts or creates some disease or disabling type of conditions, then it is called as a distress. A troublesome thing is distress, and a good one is eustress. So stress in itself is neither good nor bad. It is just a condition. It is a condition of the adjustive demand and the adaptive response. It is a condition in between these two phases of life. If there is a requirement, will I be able to fulfill? ये दोनों के बीच में का, this stage in between is stress. In itself, it is not good or bad. But now we'll see how it differs, how it becomes eu and how it becomes distress. So, basically how stress comes up is, initially there is a stressor. Then there is our attitude or how we have a lookout towards that condition. And finally it is a stress reaction. So these are the steps how it works out. So what is a stressor? So stressors can be like this. It can be some kind of frustration. Like some of my motive is not getting fulfilled. That type of thing. It may be a conflict where two motives are fighting. That shall I do this or shall I do that? There is one particular time, one particular decision to be taken. But two good options or two bad options, or a one good or one bad option. And I have to select in between this. So that time a conflict arises, and this conflict is there in our head, that what shall I do? So it creates a stress-like situation. Then there is pressure in terms of like work pressure and conditioning pressure, that I have to give out something. Then there are various life events, like there are events in life like marriage, demise of some person close by, or any diseases, or various life events create minor and major stresses in our life. So they also act as stressors. Now what is stressor? If we define it, it is a stimulus that can put us into stress. There are other environmental conditions also. At times there is a cyclone, there are droughts, or various other now volcanic eruptions, and other these type of environmental conditions also create some type of stress. Now last time when it was a volcanic eruption over there, those people or our relatives who might have been over there and wanted to fly back, that time all over the globe there was a stress-like condition, that will my relatives return back or not. So these are environmental conditions, but they also create stress for some time. For a week or 2 weeks, everything was hanged up, everyone was in stress. After that, all the flights started running, everyone was back, stress is gone. Now these are like conditional. So it is environmental conditions that give us. So these are various types of stressors. Now this is according to the modern perspective. I'm trying to put the first sign with comparison between, I'm not saying, we can't say comparison, but we are just looking both the things at a time. The modern aspect also as well as the yogic aspect. Now how stressors are the things which can put us into the condition of stress and which will ask for our stress response. Are you all with me? Okay. So these are the stressors as per modern science. Now what yoga says, Yoga puts a word, there are many concepts of yoga which define various types of stressors in life. We'll go to the advanced levels later on, but the initial stressors what he has put is, these are the antarayas. In the first chapter itself, in the 30th sutra, Patanjali says, Vyadhi Sthana Samshaya Pramad Alasya Avirati Bhranti Darshana Alabdha Bhumikatva Anavastitatvani